You ain't never seen a man turn leg gold with his hands. You ain't never seen a man get a queen wet with a glance. Water turn wine, whole wide world mine in my mind. In and out of time, my light shine bright for the blind. Something about the way I do it. 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 Said I'm gonna be a millionaire soon, but I already knew it. I'ma die the bullets fluid. All this winning therapeutic. Something about the way I do it. Something about the way I do it. They be trying to drain my energy up with the battery is not included. Women trying to be recruited. Let them do it, then I bought it. What is cute, then she folded. Something about the way I do it. I remember playing ring around the rosy. Now I got a pocket full of OZs. Water dollars, wallet full of old cheese. Got a Glock, a cock and pop a police. Block.
Peace, family. Welcome to another episode of Underground Railroad Productions. This your host, Brother Rich, back with the Blue Pill. Welcome back, brother.
Peace. Salute, family.
Indeed, man. Yo, man, that outfit is fly, man. You got that on the site, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice outfit. That the hat too, or is that?
Nah, this is separate. This is something I caught at the parade. You know, one of the patrons, one of the viewers of this channel, he was selling it. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to that brother.
Indeed. Shout out to that brother. And shout out to, since you said Patreon, shout out to everybody who supports the channel, supports independent media, everybody on Patreon. We got the Black Mirror Decoded coming next week, exclusive for Patreon members. And that's the show that's on Netflix that everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
And it deals with artificial intelligence, technology, you know, the future, or how people think the future might be. And it's
the perception
of
this quickly approaching automated future. You know what I'm saying? And like you mentioned, you know, Netflix has a lot of programming dealing with shows that speak specifically to the topics that we address.
Yeah.
Such as quantum physics, D-Wave, alternative realities. They got altered carbon dropping.
Yeah.
You know, it should be available by the time this video goes up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Travelers is another show that we highly recommend, dealing with that D-Wave, dealing with Google as God, called a director. You know, it's a lot of material. There's a lot of material that's up there, you know, quietly in the cut, but they got some good programming. So
stay tuned, everybody.
Shout out to Monique.
Yeah, stay tuned, everybody, on Patreon. And let's get into the show, my brother. Yo, man, Ayanna Jackson.
Whew.
DJ Vlad. Now, this is the female that said Tupac. Did he get charged for rape, or what was the exact? Do you know the exact charge? Was it
I think he initially was up for a rape charge, sodomy. He didn't get convicted of rape, but he was up for a rape charge. There were some pistols involved in the case as well. Forcibly touching. It was a myriad of charges dealing with sexual transgression that supposedly took place, you know, amongst Tupac, his associates, and this young woman.
So she gets on DJ Vlad.
Yes.
And her body language, man, it was horrible.
Yes.
It was horrible, Blue.
It was.
Just the way she talked, it was horrible. How she kept fumbling over her words.
She seemed...
Kept backtracking. It was horrible.
She seemed very inconsistent. She made a lot of contradictory statements. Her body language was awful. You know, a few people in the comments said that she looked kind of off herself. You know, we have to keep in mind that this lady, this young woman, she's 44 years old. This incident happened when she was probably 18, 19. You know, not everybody has camera experience. Not everybody has media training. You know, not everybody has the ability to convey abuse the way that other people do have. You know what I mean? But hip hop has been waiting for this moment for over 2 decades to hear the story directly from the mouth of the accuser, the story that kind of affected the life of one of the most iconic figures in the genre of hip hop and pretty much curtailed the direction of the culture, okay, which has residual effects on society at this particular time. You know, as far stretching as that comment may seem, I think that we all could agree that the world would be a different place, you know, if Big and Pac was still here, you know what I'm saying? And we must keep in mind the domino effect of incidents that came out of that particular incident, you know, in that hotel room. You feel me? From Pac being charged to him falling out with Haitian Jack, to Haitian and Jackson and, you know, tutting them to hit, you know, to rob him or whatever, you know, the failed attempt on his life, thus him turning around and blaming Big, them getting into the squabble, you know, subsequently leading into Pac going to jail, being incarcerated, him getting bailed out by Suge Knight, that wave starting, him getting killed in Vegas, Big getting killed in LA, hip hop becoming, you know what I'm saying, in disarray, you know, Jay emerging, you know, all these other cast of characters coming about. Would there had ever been an Eminem? Would there had ever been a this? Ever, you know what I mean? It's so many variables. It's such an alternative reality. It's such an altered carbon state, you know? This is the stuff that makes Netflix jump up. So hip hop wanted to know. Hip hop has always wanted to know, like, is there any validity to these accusations? Let alone the fact that people have a very storied view and image of Pac, you know what I'm saying? And it's sullied how people view, you know what I'm saying, someone who they consider their shining prince. There was 2 incidents in the 90s that kind of, it kind of led credence to the backdrop of we don't love these hoes. You know what I'm saying? The skepticism that brothers had in their hearts and their minds for the opposite sex when they saw what happened to Mike Tyson and when they seen what happened to Tupac. You feel me? They're like, these are the people that at the height of their game at that particular given time, they was on top. You feel me? And they got taken down by, you know, the proverbial, you know what I'm saying, the liar in the picture, the woman that comes, you know what I'm saying, and takes down these powerful men, you know, and both men claimed innocent. So there was a level of skepticism, you feel me, that people that vicariously lived their lives through celebrities was like, oh, you know, ain't none of these hoes out here trustworthy, ain't none of them good. Look what they did to Pop.
Is there any cases that we know, famous cases where a white woman took down a black man accusing him of rape? That we know of, like on that level of a Pac or a Tyson, or? I'm trying to think. Because I think automatically people think about black women when they think about. They don't just think woman, they think black women. These black hoes ain't shit, man. Yeah. They taking these, you know what I'm saying, all that. So right. I'm trying to think I can't think of the.
You know, the sports figures, the college football stars and things, you know, that we might have heard of. Right. You know what I mean? They get the charges. I don't really know who those people's names are. I don't follow that stuff too good, but I know the guy from the Cowboys. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about.
He plays for them now, or?
Ezekiel, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Elliott, yeah. Or something like that.
I forget his name, but I know you're talking about. He got
in a situation, you know, there's been a rash of those situations as of lately. But when people typically, you know what I'm saying, point their finger at women who they say are trifling and can't be trusted, especially dealing with certain aspects of celebrity and fame, they're talking about melanated women. You know what I mean? And these two incidents kind of led a lot of credence to that accusation that men were having about, though they can't be trusted, you know what I'm saying? If they took the homie down, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, what type of chance do we have out here? As idiotic as that might sound, you know what I mean? This is the rationale that some people were utilizing. It also, in some respects, served as a cautionary tale, you know, to people that kind of move through the fast lane and the fast life, you know what I'm saying? Just picking up shorties and bringing them back and you got the homies, and you know what I mean, you do your thing and you slide off, you feel me, and you don't really know, you can't account for what's going on afterwards. So it made some people tighten their situation up, you know. So the skepticism and the fear brought about that kind of helped in some situations, and it hurt in others. So people have been waiting for this moment for a very long time.
What do you think when she says, when, you know, DJ Vlad is trying to get her to say the details of what happened that night in the hotel room, and she says that it was an out-of-body experience? What did you think when you heard her say that? You know, she was having an out-of-body experience.
That is something that a lot of people that have traumatic experiences say. When people are having near-death experiences, you know what I'm saying? When people have been in horrific car crashes, when people are being accosted in their sleep, you know, when people are being raped, you know, they do say that. So it wasn't foreign for me to hear her make mention of that. You know what I mean? I knew that it wouldn't be well received. I wonder if she said that on the stand, you know what I'm saying? Like, how would a jury take note of that? So there's a lot that was said, and there was a lot that didn't add up. And I don't know if an interview is not necessarily an interrogation, you know what I'm saying? So Vlad was kind of, you know, he had the kitty gloves on, you know what I mean? Because my question would have been, if you were having an out-of-body experience, you know, were you thus then able to identify the men who you said that you couldn't see because your head was turned? But when you was out of your body, your head wasn't still turned when you was out of your body. No disrespect, I'm just saying. You know, and is that admissible in the court of law for you to tell the jury,
right.
Look, I was above my body and I saw these men, you know what I'm saying, taking turns with my carcass. You know what I mean? I don't know how that would play in the court of law. And it's not going to play too well in the court of public opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that they're going to throw darts at her for that. You know what I mean? We live in a society that doesn't prescribe to that anyway. But I did think that, you know, when she said that, that was consistent with people who experience trauma.
Do you think this is another case? We talked about this before. I think we did a video a couple of years ago. We talked about the Nate Parker situation.
Okay.
And do you think this is a situation where, you know?
Well, that's your example. You asked about.
Oh, the white woman, the white woman, yeah, right.
Parker was at the top of his game.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? And they torpedoed him.
Is this another situation where a woman gets drunk, might have did a little cocaine, smoked a little weed, let dudes hit, then she woke up regretting it, and so, you know, because she can't live with it, she wants to cry rape? Does it sound like that?
I can't possibly say. Again, because of contradictory statements that she made in her interview, as well as what we were told from the onset of this case, you know, Pac said that this woman was friends with his associates, with the party, you know, in question, Haitian Jack and his associates. She said today, well, when I saw the interview today, she said that she didn't know them. You know what I'm saying? She said that she came to the club with somebody else and she was introduced to everybody at once. She seemed like she was a very naive young woman who, as she said, was starstruck. You know, Pac was calling her out to come and hang out, and she was doing that. She said that they didn't have sex every time. So I would be led to believe that, you know what I'm saying, this is somebody who was into an individual, enjoyed their company, and was just enjoying the ride. You know, whether she was willing to extend that invite and do anything to stay in that space rather than it being cut off, I have no idea. I can't necessarily make that judgment call. You know, why I really wouldn't say that as well is because, you know, the sex kit reports it didn't find any traces of, you know,
forcible entry,
additional, you know, semen intercourse and all of that stuff like that. Even though she said that her and Pac had sex, and then she said she, you know, subsequently got raped, or she classified all of it as rape.
Yeah, she said Pac raped me. She said that in there on the Vlad.
Yeah,
She specifically said that.
And you know, her this is very, again, these are some interesting times that this particular story comes about, you know, when we are in the throes of the Me Too movement.
That was going to be my next question, man.
So, you know, now we got the Me Too Pac movement.
Is it really turning into a anti-man movement, man? I mean, now Pac accusers coming out in the light. I
feel that the opportunity for everyone to be heard is now, so they're going to utilize the opportunity to be heard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody's going to put paint on the board. You feel me? And this situation is no different. I don't know, again, technically why she chose 20 plus years until now, until the age of 44, to come forth and tell her story. But the climate is conducive to her telling her story and fielding a level of support.
And getting that support,
you know what I mean?
right.
By people saying, oh, you know what I mean? Thank you for telling your story. And then they're going to have a Me Too hunt in hip hop. You dig what I'm saying? Because this mirrors or sounds somewhat similar to what Nelly's going through right now. You understand? What about what CeeLo was going through? And I mean, there's just so many more examples of brothers that are going through this thing. You know what I mean? The whole, you know, what is the proper way that you interface and interact with a groupie or a woman that's smitten, you know what I mean? Who, for whatever reason, you know, like, again, you don't know these women, you don't know nothing about them, you don't know their backstory or anything. You feel me? And this is no disrespect to the young lady. She looks like she's a sweet, adorable person. But she do look like she's, you know, she could be a little off. You feel me? She just looks like she could be a little off if I'm reading things from the surface, you know what I mean? And we're taught to do that based on body language and other variables and factors.
Inconsistencies with her talking.
Inconsistencies, you know, the wandering eyes, you know what I'm saying? She just don't look like she's all the way there. And, you know, these young women, unfortunately, are the type of women that, you know what I'm saying, brothers is running down on, and, you know, she got a fatty, or she got this, or she got that. And then they're putting themselves in these precarious situations where, yeah, there's going to be a litany of stories that women are going to come back telling at 20, 30 years old, dealing with their nightly escapades as groupies with rappers, you know? So...
Yeah, man. I mean, I did a video with Red last week, the Me Too movement, when they had the march in New York. They put the hat, the pussycat hat, or was that what it's called, on Harriet Tubman, bro? The statue in Harlem, man. And that's like, we was like, wow, they getting real disrespectful with it, bro. A pink hat on Harriet Tubman. But anyway, do you think because we are, you know, because of who Tupac is and what he represents to black culture, you know, are we being biased in this? Are we not being showing sympathy to this young lady who is saying she went through something? I mean, that's Pac. So
like
people,
you know, yeah, that's Pac. Pac is Pac.
So
generally, I think that society in general, there's a small contingency that says, "Oh, this man was innocent and he got railroaded." But a lot of people, you know what I mean, probably pretty much was like settled with the idea that, yo, homie got locked up for rape, or, you know, a level of sexual indiscretion. It might not have been rape. It might have been whatever the charge was called. And he did some time for it, and he got bailed, and he got killed while he was on bail. You know what I'm saying? So they feel like he made transition without the truth ever being known. And people just looked at him as that. He had the asterisk on his record. You're a rapist. You know what I mean? So I think, again, people wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt because society is still garnered to believe what the authorities tell them. You know what I mean? So if this man got convicted, whether you want to admit it out there or not, family, something in the back of your mind was like, oh, he must be guilty. You know what I mean? And there must have been some evidence that was compelling enough for the jury to convict him. So therefore, they know more than I do. You know what I mean? So maybe Pac did take a little something, or maybe they did run a train on her and he just was being sloppy, you know what I mean? And he got, you know what I mean, caught up in the crossfire because of that. You know what I mean? So I don't really know. I think that people wanted to hear from the sister and give her the benefit of the doubt. And if her story was super duper convincing, yeah, I think people would have got behind her, you know, in support and try to make a wave out of it, a movement to say what else is out there. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, what they gonna say? We need to stop production on the Tupac sex doll because, you know, we're 30 years later, we found out that, you know what I mean? We need his name stricken down from, like, what are you gonna do with Pac? Pac is not Malcolm X. Oh, I mean Martin Luther King. Like, he don't have no boulevards named after him. You know what I'm saying? There's no academies in his name. There's no awards in his name. He's just an iconic figure in the hearts and the minds of the people. You know, and this is gonna make them even more infuriated because they're going to feel that we lost our icon, our shining prince on false premises. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, this young woman, she's gonna become a pariah because of that.
Indeed. I mean, when you look at this case and everybody in the comment section is saying, yo, her story seems inconsistent. She seems kind of off. And this is at the age of 44. So at the age of 18, I could imagine her speaking in the courtroom. Do you think this was a situation where the judge or whoever, you know, the man, quote unquote man, as people call them, they're like, you know, this is, with any normal person, this case can easily be thrown out. Yeah. But this is Tupac. We got him.
I was living in New York at the time. You know what I mean? Tupac was an inflammatory figure. You know what I'm saying? The NYPD hated Tupac. You know what I mean? This was after the police in Atlanta shooting. He was on the front page. Like, they couldn't stand Tupac out here, you know? And when the police have it out for you out here, it's a wrap. Like, you need to either get out of Dodge or really, you know, just get fortified and how you gonna move around this place because they're gonna get you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I specifically feel that there was a lot of political machinations taking place, even with the way that they separated the case. You know, I don't think that people are focusing enough on what was said in the movie and what actually happened in real life.
Explain what happened with that.
Haitian Jack was initially telling Pac, like, look, I got political, you know, clout and friends in this city. I can make things happen. I can move things along. You know, when they caught the case, he got the case separated. You know, Jack's lawyer got the case separated. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of, when you have co-defendants, that leaves a presumption of either guiltiness or somebody's going to turn state. You understand? Because you co-Ds, you're supposed to all go in there together and face your accuser. When they start separating cases, that's like, oh, well, the leverage of weight is on this defendant. My defendant should not be, you know what I'm saying, under the onus of all of the weight that it's on this particular defendant, so we need to separate cases. Or my defendant is willing to testify against this defendant, so we have to separate these cases. Whatever the case is, you know, he had lawyers, Haitian Jack that is, that was pulling punches that had more political clout, you know, in the state of New York, the city of New York in particular, where they were able to make some things happen. And I'm more than certain that the judge didn't mind to say, oh, well, what are you throwing? Oh, you're throwing us Tupac. Okay. You know what I mean? We could get with that, you know. And again, as evidence of that, you see that his charge was not one that was mandated for him to be sent to a maximum facility, Clinton Max at that. You know what I mean? His charge didn't necessitate that level of incarceration. That's where, you know, you send, you know what I'm saying, people they got, you know, those are the heavy hitters up there. So even the way that he was sent around, You know what I mean? Even the way that he had to bid and sit down and do his time, you could tell that he was being punished. You know what I'm saying? He was being unfairly punished. Where he was sent and the conditions under which he was sent there did not fit his charges. You dig?
Indeed. Wow. Do you think? How do you think females will? You think females will react to this interview the same way males will react? Like I see in the comment section,
That's a very interesting question. You know what I'm saying? It's
because of what's going on.
I mean, I want to know. You know, because I have no idea. Mm-hmm. So I would like to know. You know, because the majority of Pac's fan base is women. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the release of the movie, you know, like all of the sentiments that I heard from women post this movie, they wasn't like, oh, Pac is a rapist. They felt that he was innocent. You know what I'm saying? They had compassion for him. You know, they're into his character. They're into the character that played him. He's a sex symbol. You know what I'm saying? They're still aroused by the thought of him. You know, I don't know if that picture was real that was floating around the internet last week about the Tupac sex dolls, but you know what I mean? That shit gonna sell out if you know what I mean? Like, if that is the case, they're gonna have one of those in their closet. You know what I mean? Trust that. So I would be interested to see how women as a contingency respond to this story. You know, women scrutinize other women more than men do. So they're gonna look at homegirl and be like, child, please. You did that to my baby daddy? I better never see you. You understand? So I think that women might be a little less forgiving if they feel that this story was made up, you know what I mean? And this is one of the longest lingering lies that has claimed the lives, again, like I said, of somebody who was not only iconic in our genre, but, you know, their passing has affected the trajectory of the culture.
For real. Now, in this society, do you think when somebody rapes somebody, that rapist has a horrible? I mean, that's some horrible shit to do to somebody. We pretty much all know that if you got any common sense or if you got any type of morality in you, like, that person should get the death chair.
I mean, that's the scarlet letter.
I mean,
that's
yeah.
walking around with the scarlet letter.
Yeah.
Like, nobody likes a rapist.
But now, the person who falsely accuses somebody of rape, do you think they have that same disdain in this culture, in this society? Yeah. Are the women that lie about getting raped, are they looked at as horrible as the men doing the actual raping? And if not, why aren't they?
Yeah, I think that they're looked at with a level of disdain where they might become outcasts of society. You know what I'm saying? Who wants a woman around like that is capable of yielding those level of accusations that can ruin somebody's life? You know, the issue with this, same as the issue with other situations, is the burden of proof. It's very hard to prove, you know what I'm saying, that you didn't. It's her word against yours at the end of the day. You know, in this particular case, that man is deceased. He can't defend himself from the grave, you know? So the onus is on who to prove him innocent or guilty. Her case or her words or her account has never been heard, you know what I mean? So now she gets to say what she wants to say, and she has every right to stand on it. And that's, I mean, hopefully knowing her, that's probably what she's gonna do until she's out of here. You know what I'm saying? Say, look, I know what happened. You didn't. I was there. You wasn't. This is my case. I'm gonna stick with it. That's that. You know, how society ends up viewing her, you know what I'm saying, and taking to her. Again, I'm sure that she will not win the popularity contest anywhere that she goes. I'm sure that people are not going to necessarily be running over themselves to rush to her defense because of the inconsistencies. Because, you know what I'm saying, just don't look like a sure one right here. But there also are going to be people who shield her because of the atmosphere that we live in. And they're going to say that this woman is being attacked and she deserves to be protected because X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? There's a manhunt going on, you know?
Indeed, man. It's just wow. I was just I think he got about 4 parts up now, Vlad. I think he got like 4 parts up right now.
I saw 3 of them.
Yeah, I think he just posted a 4th one today,
Okay.
I believe. So, you know,
yeah, and shout out to Vlad for his he's been getting a lot of exclusive stories. You know what I'm saying? We're journalists, let's be a little critical. Vlad, you could have did a little bit more research, you know what I'm saying? You're referencing Nigel, that's the name of the movie. You should have known that Nigel was Haitian Jack. And, you know, just a little more critical of the analytical approach towards journalism. You know, when you ask somebody a question and they give you an answer, you follow through with another question based on that answer. Like, don't just follow the sheet that you have, go down a rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? She's giving you leads and leverage, and she's making inconsistencies within the same interview. And I know in hindsight, for certain journalists, that's kind of hard. You don't hear everything the same way. You know what I mean? But that's a major, you know what I'm saying? That's a major, you know, he deserves whatever the equivalent of online media journalism Pulitzer Awards are, because he snagged an official one. You know what I'm saying? He's had some good interviews as of lately. So yeah.
Would you be upset, Blue Pill? Like I said in the past on the show, I believe with you and Red, with that after that eclipse had happened, 2 things, you know, they said the eclipse is going to reveal things that's been hidden in the shadows. 2 things that I noticed emerge out of that dominate the headlines is they started using the word white supremacy. I never heard that in mainstream media. You just always hear that from Nellie Fuller and Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. And the sexism, the Me Too movement, sexism, and all the freak dudes doing all the crazy stuff start to come up. Harvey Weinstein and all these dudes. The dude, the gymnast. You heard about the white dude, 130 girls? That's insane, bro. But he just got life in prison. But yeah, sexism and racism been on the forefront since then. If you knew a sister personally, because she was affected by, you know, she may have been touched when she was young, and she wanted to participate in the Me Too movement and march with them in the street, and you know she's hashtagging. Would you advise that? Would you be against that? Because this is something she got to get off her chest. Because a lot of brothers feel as though black women shouldn't be a part of that movement. But when it's something personally happens to you,
what have black men provided for melanated women to be heard? You know what I'm saying, and to voice their concerns? Because again, let me go back. Dip into my back pocket and start talking about statistics. If 7 out of 10 sisters out there say that they have been sexually abused, you know, more so by men that are very close and dear to them, you know, who are these niggas? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're literally surrounded by a wall of abusers, you know? And we also, you know, it's been said, there's different definitions for this, so I don't want to delve too deep into the controversy behind this term, but they say that we were raised in a rape culture. They say that we are part and parcel to a rape culture. They say the Western society, the microcosm of which we exist, is a rape culture. The macrocosm on a global level is what you can see, how these people rape resources, they rape lands, they rape culture, you know what I'm saying? And they rape women. That's the booty of war. So women need an outlet, you know what I mean? Women need an outlet, and this provides them an outlet. And women are looking for a unilateral voice to be heard. This is feminism 102, unfortunately, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Women are coming together, you know what I'm saying, just based on, like you said, this whole aspect of the divine feminine energy being on the planet, sisterhood, you know what I'm saying, them conjoining all of their different talking points, you know, sexism, you know what I'm saying, wage inequality, catcalling. You feel me? They frontlining for trans. You know what I'm saying? They doing the most out here. So whether you appreciate it or not, again, what are we providing in regards to a platform for women not only to be heard, you know what I'm saying, but for them to feel safe and secure. One, that they can be heard. Two, that they can speak about their accusers in the open and something will be done by it or about it, you know what I mean? And three, you know, that there's even enough of us out there that don't have that particular stigma that could even stand next to these women and defend them. Cause there's a whole lot of niggas, you know what I'm saying, who they got dirty hands, they got dirty dicks and shit like that. So, let me, like, I can even get into a personal aspect of it. Cause around the same time that this happened to Pac, you know, I was in high school, I believe. And I was in an incident in school, right? I was going to summer school at the time. You know, this goes into the whole aspect of what we're talking about with people with false accusations, right? And the things that can come out of that. You know what I mean? I was going to summer school and, you know, I got sent to like 4 different high schools when I was in high school, but I was like the most popular, or one of the top popular people in all of my high schools that I went to, Millwood, Sheepshead, Utrecht, and I was going to Irvin Night School. And like, because of our popularity, people will always just be around. Like, we had a lot of hanger-ons, you know what I'm saying? People were just always in the crowd, faces in the crowd type of stuff. You know, or when we moved, we just moved in units and like cliques and stuff like that. So on this particular day, I remember we was leaving school, we left school, we was on the train, we was going home, right? And the train was crowded. So there was these dudes around me, right? These Haitian kids that lived around my way in Flatbush. Just so happened to go to night school with me. So we on the train, you know what I mean? Train is crowded. One of the kids inappropriately touches a young woman on the train who, you know, the young woman went to school with us and everything. So this happens like down the car from where I'm at. I see some sort of ruckus and commotion. They get off the train, you know what I mean? The train is like, I don't know if these trains ain't like back in the days. Back in the days, you could pull an emergency brake and the train can go nowhere until the conductor or the police come. So the train wasn't going nowhere. The conductor comes out, ultimately the police come out, you know what I mean? Now I see this young lady, she's walking from the back now to the front. She's with the police, you know what I'm saying? And she's explaining to them whatever happened. She looks at me and she gives me this look, right? That's like almost like looking through me and shit. So I ain't think nothing of it, you know what I'm saying? I'm out of my business. I don't know what happened. I know something did happen, but I don't know exactly what happened. You feel me? They restore order to the train. Train pulls off. We go around the way. At this point, I'm trying to catch up with some of the kids to find out what was going on. I couldn't catch up to them. We go to school the next day. It's a Friday. It was raining that day. I remember, right? Go through school. I felt like it was odd because a lot of people didn't come to school that day, but it was raining, it was nasty weather and stuff like that. So, boom. After school comes, same routine. Outside, everybody hanging around, you know. We leave, we go downstairs. This is Union Square. Downstairs on the 4 train. I got a mob of people around me. I got my back on the gate, right? I remember I had my Stadium 92 on and all of that. I was just flamming. I was down there just, you know what I'm saying, doing my thing. And I see the young lady, right, that I saw last night on the train. I see her face in the crowd. So it's like everything was slow motion, like the crowd kind of parted and she's standing there and she pointed at me. And I'm looking around and I'm like, and then she moves and I see somebody come with a Rambo knife. You know what I'm saying? Stab me right here on the crown of my head. Stab me right here in my throat and in my temple. I'm talking about with a Rambo knife, full speed ahead. I'm ducking like this. That's why the shit is like slipping out of my temple and going into, you know what I'm saying? Like when he came with the thrust and it hit into my throat, but then I kind of moved and weaved off of it. They said it missed a 1/4 inch of my jugular. So this motherfucker was trying to kill me, okay? Because they came up there looking for these niggas and they wasn't nowhere to be found. And she was like, oh, that's their group leader. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's why I don't like groups of niggas around me at all. You feel me? So not only did I get into that situation, I fucked around. I got locked up after that. Because she tried to put the fucking accusations on me. You know what I'm saying? And I beat the case, you know, and that you know, the individual is no longer with us, unfortunately. But I remember that shit. You know what I'm saying? I remember it clear as day. And I know what a false accusation can do. You know what I'm saying? I know it too well. And I know it, you know, keeping unnecessary company, you know what I'm saying? Like the unnecessary hanger-ons and, you know, all of that shit can be very detrimental to you. You know what I'm saying? Those people can do something that could weigh heavily on you and you have no idea about it. You know, that could have been Pac's situation. Those individuals did something, he didn't know the extent to which they did it, and it weighed heavily on him because he's looked upon and looked at as the leader in that particular group dynamic. You feel me? When everybody could be autonomous to themselves. He could actually be running behind these people, but it's looked at as you're the one that's responsible. You're the star, you're the light, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a very sticky situation. You know, you can't ever say what it is. You know what I'm saying? You can't ever say yay, you can't ever say nay. You just don't know. You don't know. What we do know is that there are an insurmountable number of women who have been abused, you know what I'm saying? But we also have to be mindful of the culpability factor that people have to not be putting themselves in situations, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna sit here and say, and you know what it is, because you never know exactly what it is, you know what I mean? Even if you signing up to be promiscuous or, you know what I'm saying, have a fling with somebody, you're not signing up for a train if that's not what you're into, you know? But even going back to that story earlier this summer with the young lady, Kanika Jenkins, you know, just the whole atmosphere of putting oneself in that sort of company, you know what I'm saying, with people that are popping pills, they're taking the drugs, they're smoking, they're drinking, you know what I'm saying? Some people is jumping off and you know what I mean? Other people, they're there for the jump off and you looked upon as somebody that they like, I want to jump on that. You know what I mean? But you not with it, but they like, why are you here? You already know what it is. And unfortunately, we live in that kind of culture. I know I grew up in that culture.
Hey. Black magic. Hey. You ain't never seen a man turn leg go with his hands. You ain't never seen a man get a queen wet with a glance. Water turn wine, whole wide world, mind in my mind. In and out of time, my light shine bright for the blind. Something about the way I do it. 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 Said I'm gonna be a millionaire soon, but I already knew it. I'm a death of bullets fluid. All this winter therapeutic. Something about the way I do it. Something about the way I do it. They be trying to drain my energy up with the battery, it's not included. Women trying to be recruited. Let them do it, then I bought it. What is cute, think she fooling. Something about the way I do it. I remember playing ring around the rosy, now I got a pocket full of OZs. $1 wallet full of old cheese. Got a Glock, I can pop a police.